Today is Tuesday, the 7th of July, 2026. My name is Francisco Gaffney, and this is my daily streaming all about governance, risk, compliance, and advisory boards. So, yesterday we started to go through the model of the advisory board operating system, particularly on the point of view of growth. And today I'm going to start on the top of the model. Yesterday, we did a full view of what growth or how you can approach growth utilizing the whole model of the advisory board operating system that we have in front of us. But today, particularly, we're going to focus on the top of the model of the first milestone, which is scaling, your commercial acceleration. And what implies is brand, people, and your partnerships. So this is where many businesses look stronger than they really are. For example, the sales activity is up. You as a founder, you're very busy. The team is hiring. Partnerships are being discussed, and the brand is more visible to the public. Right? From the outside, it looks like progress, but inside it can feel quite different. The team is stretched. You are dragged into too much. Partnerships are not properly owned. The offer is still explained differently by different people. Growth arrives, but it lands quite messy. So this is why scale is not the same as growth, because growth adds more, but scale makes more easier. Yeah, it makes more easier. Right? No, it's not more easier. It's make more. It's bigger. It's like a wedge. So scaling, you have a higher revenue with the same operation expenses, but growth looks like a parallel lines. So you have as much operation expenses as the revenue that you're increasing. So let's take a look at three problems with this. Problem number one is that leaders confuse motion with scale. Right? Like busy is not really scaling, or you have to be careful what is one and what is the other. So more pipeline, more meetings, more calls, more reports, and more hires can create a feeling of progress. But if the business still needs consistently the founder involvement to win, or the leadership team, or pricing, or explaining and delivering all the time is not very clear, or it creates more problems that actually flows, is not scaling properly. Problem number two is that, and here I'm going to make a bracket here. I'm going to open a bracket here. Many people confuse this with, as they call it, growing pains. It is not, because if one thing is having the discomfort of growth or scaling with a very solid plan, knowing exactly what's going on. Exactitude is not always that you can have all the time, but actually having that particularly milestones that you're achieving stage after stage after stage in a cadence, in a calendar, is something that can be uncomfortable, displeasing, etc., etc. But if something is changing every day and you don't know what happened yesterday and today you had to reinvent the wheel as a growing pain again, so then you probably have a lot of messy motions rather than scaling or growing the company. So I close the bracket here. Just this is a very, very clear distinction you have to have for one and the other. Problem number two is that the answer become add costs, right? When you feel or you hear this adding cost, it's when performances feels tight, the lazy answer is to hire another person, right? So it's another added cost of the price of growing. Another sales lead, another marketer, another operating manager. Sometimes when you have a very good plan and you have an operating system, that is right. Often it hides the real issue: unclear positioning, weak roles, poor handovers, or partnerships with no structure. And problem number three is that the room is solving last year's problem or problems from the past. The board or the leadership team may have a good people, but the next stage needs a capability they don't have yet, right? Maybe it is a channel strategy. Maybe it's a succession process. Maybe it's a go-to-market strategy. Maybe it is international partnerships. Maybe the pricing structure. So if the room lacks the next capability, scale slows in plain sight, and you can see it because you see, what you think that is happening in reality is a lot of scrambling, but not really scaling the company. In other words, imagine trying to pull a heavier train with a loose coupling, right? So yesterday we mentioned the example of a train. In this particular case, you have the engine, you have the power that pulls everything. The power is there, but the weak point shows up as the load increases, right? Is what happens when brand, people, and partnerships are not lined up. So, as a board advisor, what I would propose to consider is the following. First, start by making brand a board level asset, right? Treat your brand as an asset. I don't mean new fancy colors, slogans, or nicer deck. I mean one clear market position, one clear reason buyers choose you, one clear reason they should act now. A simple test for this is ask 3 clients, 3 salespeople, and your team, and 3 senior leaders why buyers choose the business. If you get 9 different answers, right, the issue is not demand, it's clarity. Your company is not clear at any stage or by their own people to understand what they are offering to the market. And then treat people as capability, not as a head count, right? Capability. The better question is not who else do we hire, right? So another hire. No, the better question is where is leadership time getting trapped and what judgment is missing for the next 6 or 12 months. So sometimes the answer is permanent hire, sometimes it is not. Sometimes the business specialist advisory capability around a milestone before it makes a big hire. So then treat a partnership as a route to scale, not a relationship theater, right? Which partner gives you reach to where you don't have that reach in the market? Which partner gives you trust you have not earned yet? Which partner shorten the sales cycle? For example, the public sector is very, very complicated. So which partner have already the capacity and the experience in public sector that you don't have? Which partner helps you enter the market without learning every lesson on the hard way? So that is the scale lenses for all your brand, your people, and partnership, right? So a strong advisory board helps you as a founder and leadership team ask those questions without pretending every problem is a sales problem. So it can go and ask different things, like it sounds like a brand is visible but no sharp enough, for example, or like the team is growing but capability is still missing, or like partnership exists, that's true, but are not yet part of the operating system. So those labels are uncomfortable, but they are also useful because then what you see, what it looks like, perhaps is not what is the reality. So then you have the capacity now to understand what's going on. So what do you gain working with me? 3 things: business outcomes, differentiators, and risk reductions. In terms of business outcomes, it's a sharper commercial plan. The company sees the real scale blockage and starts turning brand, people, and partnerships into assets. The differentiator is rotating international advisory board. You get shared challenge and matched expertise around the current milestone. In this case, is scaling, partnership, people, and branding. So this is faster than hiring one executive with lower overhead than a big consulting firm and no talent locked in. And the risk reduction is the wrong capability at the wrong time. You reduce this risk. A flexible advisory model avoids overhiring, slow hiring, or our statistic board thinking, right? So if you are over hiring, you are going to run into a problem. If you are slow hiring, you can run into a different problem. And even worse, if you have a static board thinking, like group thinking, that is, as I mentioned, yesterday thinking in today's problems, and that might not help or might not be the right one at this stage. So members of the advisory board can be swapped every 6 months as the scale, the challenge changes. So one action you can take home today, and it's very easy to do, it takes 30 minutes or less. I'm going to put on the screen here so we can follow along. It's before your next leadership meeting, draw 3 columns: brand, people, and partnerships. Under each line, write what is blocking or slowing the scaling that you're looking for. Then write the signal that you see that is too late, or what is delaying these things. And underneath, the last thing to write is a missing expert or partner that will change the speed that you're looking for. And that pretty much is your scale map. Very easy to do, very fast to do, but very, very good, because actually then you have the 3 lines of scaling of your company or your commercial acceleration. What is the blockage? What is the issue that you identify? And what expertise are you looking for? So let's pause here for today and reconvene tomorrow, because tomorrow we are going into predictability, which is the right hand of the model, because more revenue means little if the board or the founder cannot trust how that revenue is generated, measured, and sustained, right? Very important. So if you're a founder, a chair, non-executive director, or you're part of the executive team, and you want an international advisory board built around your scale milestones or your commercial acceleration, let's have a 30-minute chat to understand where you're coming from, where you are today, and where you are looking go, or what you're looking for, so we can design an advisory board that fits that particular goals that you're looking for. And I can assure you we can bring 24% revenue increases and 18% more productivity with a faster implementation, like hiring one executive, with a lower overhead than a big consulting firm, no talent locked in, and swappable members every 6 months, or whatever is the project requires. So have a